There's actually 554 lakes in Polk County. And a lot of people don't realize in Winter Haven we have 50 lakes. And 24 are connected in what's called the chain of lakes.
My favorite thing about Polk County is the history. It's really got a small town feel, which for me is really important because where I grew up on the Cape, the people were next door to me still were making their own jam, and the nearest mall was 45 minutes away. And Winter Haven kind of has that feeling, but then we have that nice nostalgic downtown area.
Today we're going to go on a little sunset cruise, and we're going to see about 8 or 9 lakes and cruise by the beautiful $1 Million homes, Legoland, get a little history of Cypress Gardens, the islands and the canals and how they were built and the years they were built and the railroads. And we're at beautiful Harborside. We have Lake Ship behind us, and we do customized pontoon boat cruises, historic cruises of the beautiful chain of lakes here in Winter Haven. Right. We're going to head into Lake May now. We're about to go under the railroad track, Lake May. We have the CSX and the Amtrak run through here, the railroads. And it is a no-wake zone, which means we go slow through here. And Lake May is where Marine Supply is located. Marine Supply has been there 65 years. It's up here on the right, and that's where I bought this boat. Good family-owned business, been here 65 years. They'll store your boat for you. They put it up high and dry.
I am actually originally from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, so I kind of grew up near the water a little bit. But I've been down here in Winter Haven for probably about 15 years and in Florida for about 28, and I just absolutely love it.
I was actually born and raised in Winter Haven. I lived on Lake Lulu, so I love the lakes. It's in my blood. I actually used to work at Cypress Gardens back in the 80s. I was a botanical gardens boat cruise driver from 83 to 86. And we used to cruise through the gardens and point out all the beautiful flowers and the plants, and that's kind of how I got the idea to start this business. And my wife and I, and we're a great team. She takes care of all the bookings and the website and everything, and I just drive the boat.
I met my husband at church, and we've been married now for about 9 years. And he kind of came up with the idea of, why don't we do some pontoon boat tours on the chain of lakes? And I had actually never been on the chain of lakes. I would go and try to relax sometimes and grab my Bible and find a public park and just kind of sit and watch the water because it was so peaceful, but I was never actually on the chain until we bought the pontoon boat to do the business, which was crazy because that literally was my first time. So I was actually his first guinea pig customer because I had no idea what to expect, which is really exciting for me.
We had a great time. It was a great way to finish off our Winter Haven trip. We were here for college baseball at the Chain of Lakes Park, and we saw this on TripAdvisor, and very informative and very personal. Rue gave us a great tour, and we benefited from his 40 years growing up around here. And we got to see Legoland and the cypress trees, the Florida pool that Esther Williams swam in, and just some great wildlife, birds. We don't get to see that back in Indiana, the herons and all the wildlife. We even look for alligators.
So coming up on your left, this is Tanner's Lakeside. This is another lakeside restaurant. It's really good. They have a really good chef. They offer steaks and seafood, and they do a lot for the community. They have one event, I think, that benefits autism. Very boat friendly.
The idea came about, like, why don't we do something where we can offer historical nature tours, because he was so well versed in the area, and just make it really reasonable with really affordable pricing, and just kind of have packages for everybody where, I mean, our oldest guest was 96 years old, and that was probably the second tour we ever did. And then our youngest was about 8 weeks. So it's really a great thing to do for all ages.
I love the history. I was actually a history minor in college and a public relations major at University of Florida. And I love Winter Haven. I mean, we have such a rich resource here, the chain of lakes, and we're a fast-growing community, and we just love being out on the chain. This is Caribbean Bay, and they just built a new tiki hut, and it held up well. It had a few palm fronds missing from Hurricane Irma. They put it up 2 weeks before Hurricane Irma came in, and it totally held up. It's built out of solid telephone poles. They do karaoke, and you can pull up here and you can get your Coca-Colas and stuff like that. They have a drive-through window. And they also have a little bait shop back there, so you can buy minnows, shiners, crickets, worms.
It's the first time I've been out on the chain in 40-something years, so it was a lot of fun, and I've done it twice this week. Great guides, and I've learned a lot about the wildlife, native vegetation, and the not so native vegetation.
I'm from Iran, but I live in Costa Rica. But I really like Winter Haven, but I never been this tour before, so it was really a good experience for me and for my son. We learned a lot. This is my second time, as I said, and I will do it again for sure.
We meet people that come in from all over the world. They come on the website and they're going to Legoland, and they look up things to do in Winter Haven, and they call us, and we get them on the boat, and they love it.
We have a lot of seniors. We have a lot of people, a lot of snowbirds right now. And I would say a lot of our business actually is seniors, and a lot of those people are on fixed income, so they want to go do something nice and they don't have the money yet, and their check comes in on the 3rd or something. They just make the reservation and they don't pay until they travel, which is really a great option that we have.
There's a couple of ducks. We call those Muscovy ducks. Coming through, how you doing? We're about to enter into Lake Howard. Lake Howard is the second largest lake on the chain. The largest lake would be Lake Eloise. They're doing a lot of revitalization around Lake Howard. They built a walking path almost 3/4 of the way, all the way around pretty much. And for walking and jogging, and you can take your dogs for a walk, and it's really nice for the community. We have some really good dock companies in town that are doing a great job fixing the old docks up. That bird on that dock, that's called an anhinga, water turkey. We call him a snake bird. He looks like a snake in the water. And this bird to the right, that's a snowy white egret.
We really want people to just understand the value, or just really feel like what they're getting is valuable. So we don't ever charge anyone until they actually travel. You call, you make a reservation, we'll take a credit card to hold it, but we don't actually charge you until you're done with your tour.
We created our business as an opportunity to get an affordable way for families to come out on the chain of lakes.
We want you to know that this is really about you having the experience, and then afterwards, we charge your credit card, or you pay cash, or whoever it is that you want to do it.
This is a beautiful canal right here. This is my favorite. It goes from Lake Howard into Lake Canaan. On the left, you used to have Dick Pope Sr. He lived on the left, and Dick Pope and his brother Malcolm Pope lived on the right. And that bridge down there, the Canal Commission, they came in, the Conservation Corps of America. They dredged out the canals in 1915, and they did it for the sole purpose of moving citrus and lumber throughout Winter Haven. So when they cut through the canal, they cut directly through the Pope property. So the Popes, they had cousins and the kids, and brothers and sisters, they didn't want them running in the road, and they wanted an easy access to get back and forth. So they built that bridge right there so they could go back and forth to each other's house, and that was pretty cool. We're gonna start heading back because we're gonna go see Legoland and some of the Cypress Gardens history and everything, and try to catch a sunset on Lake Lulu. All right, guys?
I learned a lot about the history here in Winter Haven, about Lake Lulu.
They come to Harborside, and we can make exclusive reservations for them at Harborside, and we can pick up here, and they can have a wonderful dinner, and it's very boat friendly.
We also have cruises for Christ, where you can just book a cruise and 100% of that will go to missions. And we also support missionaries. We support missionaries in the Marshall Islands, in China, in Russia. And if you were to come on board and you had a specific missionary that you wanted to support, then we would also make sure that they would get those funds as well. So there's a lot of different, options there that we do to honor God.
A lot of people fish off the canals, and they can catch some good fish. We have the speckled perch, which up north they call the crappie. They're really good eating. We have the bluegill, the shellcracker, the brim, catfish, mudfish, gar. They all live in these lakes. Now right above us is Highway 17, big Highway 17. That bridge straight ahead, that's the original Highway 17. I believe it was built around 1922, if I'm not mistaken. And I used to ride my bike over that bridge. My great-grandmother lived in Eagle Lake, and I'd ride my bike over that bridge and go to Eagle Lake. Originally, before when they dredged the canals out for the erosion and the seawall, they had cypress wood. See the brown planks? That's all cypress wood.
I was here when Dick Pope was there with Cypress Gardens and all the, there's a canal that goes into the water ski factory, and he used to have that. And I just learned today that the trees, the cypress trees, are removed for the most part from that southern shore, because those were the cypress trees he used to create the skis, to develop them. And I never knew that before. The cypress knees now, I think, they're not endangered, but it's against the law to harvest them unless you have a permit.
That's what they used to make cypress wood skis out of. All this land was inhabited by the Calusa Indian. They were a peaceful Indian, and they lived all around these lakes, and they were expert fishermen. They used to carve canoes out of cypress trees, and that's what we get out here. You know that little purple bird right there? That's a purple gallinoo. Purple gallinoo. He's part of the coot family.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Is your family in need of more quality time together?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Nature is best enjoyed together. So bring the whole family to discover all the bonding and stress-reducing benefits parks and forests have to offer. Visit discovertheforest.org and trade in phone time for family time.
Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, grass, worms, bugs, trees, rocks, and other objects in nature cannot talk. If you'd like to have a conversation while visiting nature, you will need to bring humans along. We strongly recommend starting with your family.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Cost of family time activities getting you down?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. If you or someone you know needs a healthy dose of nature, visit discovertheforest.org to find out which park or forest is closest to your family.
Acorns are not real currency, but that's okay because parks or forests are either free or super affordable. It's a truly economical way for the whole family to enjoy each other's company and bond beyond the confines of concrete buildings and rush hour.
We actually named our company the Living Water Boat Cruises because for us it was really important to honor God. I mean, we really didn't just jump into this business. We prayed about it first. We kind of felt like we were supposed to wait. And then when we finally felt that peace about moving forward, we did. And we really wanted to honor God and the things that are very important to us as Christians. So that's where the living water came from. It's just kind of to honor because the living water is another name for Jesus. And it's just the fact that we're on the water and the fact that you're just able to get the peace of God out there and just really get away from the stress. So it was really important to us.
I was here when Dick Pope developed, well, not when he developed it, but when he was there with Cypress Gardens and all the southern bells and the amazing, amazing plant life that they had there. He and his wife traveled all over the world collecting specimens, and that's how he developed that property. So I hated to see it go. I'm friends with their granddaughter, Julie, and I guess time changes everything, but it was a lot of fun.
Look at the beautiful osprey, snowy white egret. Now this is called Pirates Cove. This is Legoland. Over the years they've had different shows, Corky and Corkette. A kite would come in and fly in here. They'd jump the ramp, they'd build a pyramid, they barefoot. That bird right there, that's called a great blue heron. This is a behind the scenes look at the ski show. They keep everything, their boats. And there's another great blue heron. There's a osprey up there in the tree. It was fun. That was my first job in high school, working at Cypress Gardens. And they filmed all kind of movies here. I mean, Esther Williams, she filmed a couple movies here. Johnny Weissmuller, the first Tarzan, he filmed here. Esther Williams actually water skied between these two cypress trees we're about to go through right now in the movie Easy to Love in 1953. This is all the old Cypress Gardens. Legoland bought them, I believe, in 2011, 2009 or 2011. There's a beautiful banyan tree in there. You've got your bamboo here, split leaf philodendron, beautiful palms. There's Lebanon cedars in there. Coming up on your right is the world famous Esther Williams swimming pool. It was built in 1953 for a movie called Easy to Love, starring Esther Williams and Van Johnson. Warner Brothers came into town.
Everything we do is it's customizable. We have like 1 hour and 2 hour durations mostly, but people that have kids, they might want to catch the Pirates Cove ski show and they can book a cruise that has that option. They have, we can do like lunch and dinner cruises where we depart directly from Harborside, handle the reservations for like birthdays and anniversaries and stuff, which is just awesome. And then we always have water, but people can bring whatever they want to eat or drink on board. So it's kind of like you have your own private experience. And we have the option to close the boat off if you only have 2 people and you don't want anybody else on. We do that too, which is really a great experience.
Earlier I went to Legoland with my son, and then we came here for the ride, and it was so funny and very interesting that we can see Legoland, but besides other side, like being in a boat, and we can see the people there, and was really, really funny because I came with my son and it was very interesting for him to see Legoland, but from the water.
We're about to enter into Lake Summit, one of my favorite lakes. These islands are all world famous. You had Johnny Weissmuller, he was the first Tarzan. He's filmed here. A couple of scenes from Gilligan's Island got filmed on this island right here. Esther Williams filmed here, Mike Douglas show. A lot of celebrities would come here. That island right there to your right, I'm gonna get you a little closer to it. That used to be the wedding pavilion. And that's where, when Cypress Gardens owned it, people would get married there. It was a big deal. It was a 2-year waiting list. Wow. And to get married on that wedding pavilion, it was beautiful. There's Legoland Water Park. Now this pirate ship right here got damaged during Hurricane Irma. So they're refurbishing it, painting it, fixing it up, and gonna put it back in the show.
Legoland's a great draw for people now. A lot of families, young children come now. So it was nice to see it today and see how they've incorporated Legoland into the remains of Cypress Gardens.
Right, we're on Lake Summit. Lake Summit is a real deep lake. It's got a lot of pockets. It hits the aquifer. It's real clear, clean lake. They caught a 13-pounder out of here. A lot of pro bass guides, they come to Lake Summit to catch the big fish, big bass. We have bald eagles and alligators and turtles and otters, and the kids love it. I mean, the seniors, the families, I mean, it's just a great family fun activity to do in Winter Haven.
Well, you know, it's fairly warm today. It's in the low 80s, but when you get in the boat, it cools down because you've got the breeze, and the breeze is nice. We were never too warm. The sun is pretty intense, but that's Florida.
I'll tell you a little bit about a couple of these people. This beautiful white house to the right with the 3 dormer windows, his name's Jerry Lane. He's a Major League Baseball umpire. He umpired the World Series last year. He's a good guy. This is all Cypress Gardens Boulevard. I do want to tell y'all about these 2 houses right here. These 2 houses right here, they're very unique because they're on a peninsula like Florida, La Florida. So they're surrounded by 3 bodies of water. They got a lakefront on Lake Summit. I call it a back front. They got a lakefront back front on Lake Eloise, and then they have the canal in front of them. So they're surrounded by 3 bodies of water. Very unique property. And on the chain, there's maybe, I think there's 1, 2, there's about 4 or 5 of them that are similar to this, that are on a peninsula, which is very rare, unique. All right, we're gonna start heading back over to Lulu so we can catch the sunset, all right?
You know, you could have just a couple people that want to go have a romantic sunset. Like in the beginning, we would always do little date nights and come over to Harborside and catch the sunset and dinner. And so we offer that, and we don't have any minimums because it's not really about the money as much as it is about the experience and just being able to have that available here in Winter Haven and in Polk County. And so if you had a couple that just wanted to do a date night, we book 2 people or 1 person or whoever wants to get on the boat without any limitations, so that no one is really denied the experience, because that was the whole point of it. But
right now all the birds are nesting, and we've got the great blue herons, and we have a couple of great horned owls out there with little furry baby chicks in the nest. And this road above us is West Lake Eloise Drive. Turns into West Lake Summit Drive.
This is my first time here, actually my second time here. It's great. I learned a lot about the birds, and the one that I really loved was the snake bird. It's very funny to see how it can fly and also swim.
The rookeries were very interesting, all the different types of birds they had.
Those are anhinga. They're a cousin to the anhinga, the water turkey, the snake bird. Yeah, anhinga just went under the water. They look like a snake bird. See the great blue herons in the nest? They're nesting now. 1, 2, 3, 4 great blue herons in the nest. Another beautiful sunset on Lake Lulu. So beautiful. We capture so many beautiful sunsets every night. And now the sun's setting a little later, you know, 7:45, 7:50. Then the summer it'll be 8:30, 8:40. So beautiful. The afterglows you get. We live in paradise. We're so blessed to be out here. Capture all of God's beauty and all the animals and the nature and their natural habitat, the alligators and turtles and birds, and so pretty.